Good greetings everyone. I'm Dr. Lavanya Pandian. Uh, I studied in BN Karajan National University, Ukraine. I graduated last year and I did my FMG December 2021. I scored 200. So I'm here to represent AFMG and share my tips and my journey to you all. And my first question is, how do I feel? I feel a lot of weight has been put off on me, and definitely it's a relaxing state more than what I would expect like a euphoric state. It's a lot less stressful now. That's how I feel. And my next question is, what is the exam pattern this time? I would say it was much of an integrated pattern, and so many unexpected questions that belongs to so many subjects were integrated. Also, images were integrated. Radiology was a big part in the exam. Images, like, they have flowed it out. So everyone who's going to prepare from now on, I think, expected or not expected, just go with all the images as you can. Just Google it, whatever you can. And my next question is, what is the approach I handled in my first phase of preparation? So I started studying as I came back from Ukraine. I think August beginning. So I started in the middle of August. So my first phase, I would say, for 1 or 2 months, August and September, October, and middle of October, I completely did what FMG said. That's what I did. I did the regular classes. I came back. I revised it. I revised it as much as I could, and what I did new or something that out of standing is, I just handled the time well. I would say that about myself, because nothing else new. That's it. And how AFMG played a role to me. AFMG, I learned a lot from them. That's how they played an important role in my life, I would say, because this 6 months is definitely worth it, not just for FMGE but also for my NEET, PG, AIMS or so on, because now I started reading for PG exams. I can definitely 100% assure you for studying in this institute that you're gonna revise those things in PG. That's it. So, and maybe learn few bits. That's it. Everything else is the same. So I would say, go for all 19 subjects. That's my one humble request to you all. Never go with 13 subjects, 14 subjects. It's not the way how you do the exam. Not just for passing, but also for scoring. Not just for just this exam. Also for our post FMG life. It's very important that we do all 19 subjects. And everyone who missed out this exam would tell you that they didn't prepare certain subjects, and that's why that's what they could have done better in the next June or the other exams. So my MCQ strategies and my AFMG test series is my next question. So I did my MCQs from FMGE solutions book. I found it as a bible to my studies, I would say. I did it religiously. I wouldn't stress how much I did it. I did it from cover to cover. I'm pretty sure you all might have heard about it, but cover to cover is what I would say. I mean, theory is a part, while MCQ is in part. My suggestion is definitely FMG solutions rather than going anywhere, because I find the explanations there very, very useful, and I can quote you a lot of new tables that when actually in an exam, but you would never find it anywhere. For example, the low GI, high GI, that question, and octochin resistant, those questions, and right ventricular hypertrophy question. I don't remember the exact questions. So these questions, actually, if you had if you have read FMG solutions, you 100% would answer those questions. These are not new questions. These are just unexpected questions which were already there in the book. So I would 100%, 1000% recommend you to do it. It's really hard in the beginning, just in the first phase, because we don't we just start to learn our timings and scheduling and everything. But it's okay, because everybody goes through it. And so once you cross those things, and you start doing MCQ every day, it's a must. I would say it's a must. It's not an excuse. You can even skip classes. I mean, don't, but never skip your MCQ part. It's what you have to do for passing an exam. You can go through Telegram channels. There are so many Telegram channels available, and there are so many Telegram channels given by our teachers also, and FMG also. You can also use them. And other, I would say, there are a lot of sources, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of YouTube channels, that and these, and a lot of institutes and everything. But I would say go with FMG Solutions book. Spend your half of the day on that. Spend half of the day on any institute that you trust, just on that. Maybe half an hour for the Telegram channel. And don't use your phone as much as you can. We know that it's kind of a part of the life nowadays, but I would say it's definitely time sucking one. So my humble advice is, just put it down, at least while you're studying. That's the best best routine that you can give yourself. And always I would suggest self-study. I mean, go to classes, go to MCQ books, everything, but then do your self-study. Take all the information that you have, just read it in your mind with yourself. Sit alone, read it with yourself. Just don't waver your head. If my habit is to write and see everything that I learned, so if you are like one of those like me, you can write what you have learned. If not, you can just read it to yourself. It's time consuming, but for me that's the only way I know to read, so it's like that for me. And my next question is about my revision plans, and how chanting and IBQ sessions conducted by FMG were useful to us. Yeah, so definitely chanting, image based sessions were like so damn important to us, because that's how you train yourself. You know nothing when you start, but in the end you should know something. So these things is what, just not going into, you can't read again the whole chapter again and again. So these kind of chantings are like crisp of everything that we need. And they're giving you, FMG is giving you the PDFs of the chanting and everything. So even if you know if the chanting is too fast for you, you can still read in the PDF, and just very, very useful to us. And my revision plan, I decided before coming to August, I knew that I had to do at least 5 revisions. This was my plan, because I'm the kind of person that I'll tend to forget very quickly. Whatever I learn, I just forget it. So I knew that I need multiple revisions, more than anyone can think of. So just for myself, what I did is, every day morning I wake up, I do maybe like an hour or 2 hours I spent for MCQs. I didn't just do MCQ by reading. What I did is, I marked the important points that I find it like a keyword in the question. I wrote the answer like A, B, C, D something, and after 50 questions I went back in the solutions book and I checked the answer if it's right or wrong. If it is right, I read the whole explanation part. If it's wrong, I read it again. And if I find it very, very new that I haven't read or I don't understand, I just marked it. So in the last 10 minutes of the 2 hours, I read it again. This is what I did for MCQ. And then I went to the classes after eating and all. Then I'll come back maybe around 8 or 9 p.m. Till then I just read the coaching things. After that, till maybe around 12 p.m. I think so, I was just revising the notes of that particular class. If I ever missed, I just adjust with some days the classes start at 11 or some classes starts at afternoon. So those days I compensated, but I managed to finish the first revision in the first phase itself. That was my first revision, and holy thing I did was that I did my first revision properly, I would say, because later on many people did that. Like, people said that I will read in the last 1 month, last 2 months, you definitely can't read everything at that point, because the beginning is what the time it is. So I would suggest after that, in the next phase, I would say 15 to 20 days, I read all the revision again. That is when I realized that I have missed so many parts. I didn't understand these parts and everything. And I'm reading again, I got to know what I know, what I don't know. This was my second revision. Then since I have done my 2 revisions properly, and 2 revisions, which means I included theory and FMGE solutions of the whole thing, not just the first important few questions, not that, the whole thing. So these 2 things included is my revision. One subject revision is MCQs plus theory. So this I did twice, and I think it was around mid-November before I finished this. So I knew I had less time, just 30 or 40 days left. So what I did, I divided 30-40 days into 3. I know the last 10 days is going to be hectic, so forget it. From November 7, I think. From November 7 to December 7 was my plan. So I divided into 3, and right that 10 days, for me it was like morning one subject, evening one subject. So nearly 19 subjects I can finish on 10 days. I know it is even sounds so impossible, but since I had those 2 revisions done, I was able to know what I should read now. I did that only. And if I didn't understand, I went to YouTube channels. AFMG also, most of the opta I didn't really understand. I went to Omkar sir's YouTube channel, and I went everything through that. I didn't understand radiology well also. I did Vinayak sir's everything. And biochemistry, thank you Priya sir, I'm so grateful to you. And definitely I have to mention Shakshi ma'am here for OBG. She is a goddess. I am now in love with OBG, and if you have been her student, you will know, you will have no doubts about OBG. You will be 100% sure about your answers in exam also. She taught us everything. There's nothing left. I don't think so anything is left. So such strong teachers are there, which will be very useful in your revision, because you don't have time to think at that point. You just can revise at that point. So I did 3 more revision. This was my revision plan, and chanting and IDQ plans. So if you ask me how good these were the soul of my preparation. That's how it was. So I know this process is so draining. So I come to my next question. It's how are you motivated in this situation? I am definitely not a motivated person. I'm not a motivated person, but yeah, what motivates me is that I can't sit another 6 months to study. I can't do it. This 6 months or this 4 months is so much enough. I didn't sleep properly, and I think everyone has done that. So, and also the fear of our relatives and neighbors is haunting. Definitely did haunt me. To be honest, this was my motivation. And professionally speaking, my motivation was I had few personal issues in the middle, like everyone does, and I texted to someone, even our teachers in AFMG. Those people really helped us. Because sir, Mahesh ji, Vinayak sir, Omkar sir, definitely I'm so thankful for them. Vinayak sir said me something like, you are just wasting time on those just for you to escape from studying. And that really hit me. I thought, okay, maybe I'm making myself excuses to study. And that day I started putting everything away and I studied. So my motivation is from external sources. Internal sources is like just have to go through with this exam. That's it. And if you really want me to be say something motivated, I would say what's your goal? My goal was to become an Indian doctor, especially every FMG doctors wants this. So I want to see myself working here. So maybe that is my dream, and I think that's how subconsciously I was motivated. So my next question moves to, what are the last 10 to 15 days strategy? I would definitely say I played a good strategy thing in the last 10 to 15 days, because as I said, I divided till December 7. I think my exam was on December 12. I'm not sure. So I had like a week, and many people missed out on that December, especially in the last 10 days. What happens is we are just drained at that point. We don't know what to study, what to clarify, or what is our plus, what is our minus. We definitely don't know that. What I did is I went believing that MCQ is the last point for me. So I did most of my endpoint revision with MCQs. Either it can be AFMG test series and chanting PDFs, and some YouTube channels, they were like putting this last minute revision things. I did that also. I just spent only 2 hours or 3 hours on that, because time is very important those time, in the end period. So yeah, and theory part, I knew that I'm very bad at these topics, so those topics I did in the end. And that is when I decided what subject I should give priority and what should I not. It's not a not, but if I'm definitely so bad at it, what I'm gonna do in the last 10 days reading it. So that's how I thought to myself. So in the last 10 days, I just took my good subjects that I'm good at. I just confidently read that. I didn't do anything else. In the last 3 days, I would say, I spent my most part of it doing IBQs, image-based questions. I'm so thankful to myself that I thought of this idea, because many IBQs that I learned in these last days actually came in the exam. So, and many confusions I cleared on those 3 days. I didn't do any theories, those things. And my next question is, how many mock tests, or what was my mock test preparation? I wasn't the person. I was very scared of writing exams, especially 300 marks exams. So I as I told you, the last November 7 to some December summer, I think those 30 days is when I did my mock test. I started doing my mock test. It might be a bad idea, but I don't know if it worked for me. I did few mock tests, around maybe 7 or 8 mock tests, which were like previous year questions. So it's not like new questions. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I did that. I did from AFMG app itself. I didn't have other sources. I didn't do any other app mock tests. And overall, my average in those app tests were 200, and what I got is 200. So I think it is what it is. So yeah. And the last 3 days, I don't know about others, but I would say not to do any mock test, because it puts already none of us are going to be confident before the exam that we will pass. Maybe you, but I don't know. So in the last 3 days at least, don't do any mock test. Don't go back to a mock test and cry, oh my god, I got this only 120 marks, 130 marks. It's not going to be your actual score. So put on everything that is negative to you in the last few days. It's not going to be such an haunting exam for you. It's definitely not that. And it brings me to this last question. For the new aspirants, just my advice to you all. Okay, so I would say, as I was saying, it is not just like what others give you impression. It's basically not that difficult. You have to sit there in the exam, believe in yourself, and just write the exam. I will give an example. Put on everything. You'll forget you're a doctor. Just sit there and approach the question with your basic knowledges. For example, I had a question that says, many drugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, X, Y, Z, L, M, W, X. These drugs, the patient is resistant. What it is called? This was my question. If you go medically, pharmacologically, maybe you are intelligent to do that. But what I did, I just sat for, I don't know this question in that exam hall. So I just looked at the options. The options was I know the two options are definitely not there. The other two options were extremely resistant and extensively resistant. I was just thinking about English, not about medicine. What is extreme? It means something is very high. Extensive, something is multiple. So the person is like having more than one drug resistance. So it is extensive. This is how I handle the exam. I can say you another example also. The patient is going through dehydration at 40 degrees Celsius. What is the treatment? This was a question in the exam. It's what I did. I was thinking, okay, normally in Delhi and everywhere we have our temperature to be 38 or 40. What do? We just make them sit under cool fan and give water and everything. This is what we do, right? We or mix something in the water and give electrolytes. It's not like we go to hospitals. So that was there in the option. I clicked it. So I think this exam, you should be calm in an exam. That is the key. It's not how much you study, it's not how much you revise. That's there, but it's how you handle an exam. If you put everything on that plate and confuse yourself, then there's no point. You're not gonna come out. You're gonna come out with guilt. So that's what I did. And the last till the last minute in your exam, and people say don't change your option and everything. If you are definitely sure, you can change your options. But yeah, if you don't know one question at all, just look at the good option that looks like. And of course we are not going to know every question in that. I didn't know more than 150 questions. I thought I'll fail. That's how I felt in the beginning. And then I came back and once I marked for review, and then I came back. Then I thought, remembering, okay, this. Like that, it worked for me. And many people who passed you tell the same thing. Calmness during an exam. That is very important. And first paper, it was very difficult for us. So even if you didn't do as much you expected in the first part, you can still do so much better in the second part, like I did. I would say if I am getting pass, the dedicated is because of second part. My marks, maybe the extra marks, is because of first paper. That's it. I passed because of second paper. So that how much bad I did my first paper. I am not confident about it. You can be like me also, just casually going to an exam. Taking attempts is also fine. Okay, that's not a big deal, and we are all learners. We are not experts. So go in that flow. It's not just an exam, just like any other exam we did in Ukraine. We passed in multiple countries. How much hardship did we face? And while we faced all those things, it's just another exam to us, just another thorn in our way. That's it. You can definitely cross it. And as someone that made it this December 2021, I would say this is not something. It's not bed of roses actually, but you can definitely do it. It's not about how good you are at studies. It's definitely not about it. It's how consciously good you are at concentrating on the exam. That's it. And definitely do hard work. There is hard work definitely pays. No one in this world is going to change that. No one can change that. No fate will change that. So do hard work. You should feel like you did a miracle by doing hard work. That much how hard work you have to do. In the end, that's what's going to speak for you. And I hope everybody gets few points from my talk. And thanks for listening to me, and thank you FMG for giving me this opportunity. Thank you everyone, and I wish everybody gets passed before next comes. And I really hope you all make it this time, and definitely we are all gonna make it, and we are all gonna be great doctors for India. Thank you.